Hi everyone, I'm going to have to multitask with this microphone. I'm going to have to do 300 things at once. Oh my god, okay. Maybe I can just wing it. Oh.
You want me to, she's not going to remember.
No. Can everyone hear me without the microphone?
We're doing virtual.
So you can't hear me without the mic. Hi everyone who's virtually. Hello, how are you? So as I introduced, my name is Linda Griffin. I am the Education Programs Coordinator with Business Link. Anyone familiar with Business Link or know what Business Link is? You know what Business Link is. You invited me here. Good grief. Okay, so I'm going to tell you all about Business Link, and I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about entrepreneurship as a career choice. So I've been an entrepreneur, this makes me an old lady, since 1993. So I started my first business in Calgary in 1993 when I was super young and super inexperienced and super dumb and all the other things, and ran that for 5 years. So I had a career company for 5 years in 1993 to 98. And in 1998, I sold that company and I started a new company, which I still have today. It's a corporate registry, so when people need to start businesses, I own a company that does that. So probably in my lifetime, I have helped start more than 20 to 30,000 businesses across Canada. We don't just work here, we work all across Canada doing that. Some of the other work I've done includes being entrepreneur in residence for Futurepreneur Canada for a few years, and I worked with the Business Development Bank of Canada as a small business advisor, and I'm currently with Business Link as their education programs coordinator. So enough about me. A little bit more about who Business Link is. So a couple things to know about Business Link is it's pretty much as old as my businesses are. It was founded in 1996. It's a nonprofit which is funded by the government of Alberta and the government of Canada. And it's one of several provincial organizations across Canada that would be in each province. So our sister organization in British Columbia would be Small Business British Columbia. Our sister organization in Ontario would be Small Business Ontario. And here in Alberta, we're known as Business Link. So we've been around since 1996. We serve any entrepreneur who comes through the door, whether you're a startup, growing, whatever stage of business you're at. We are here to provide many resources for free. So 99.9% of our resources are free to people who come to our door. And we have specialized services for Indigenous communities and immigrant communities as well. So we have strategists in our team who service those communities as well. So some of the things we do as an organization are provide one-on-one advice, business coaching, and connection to resources and support across Alberta. Education, that's my role. So I do things like live webinars, virtual workshops. We invite speakers to come in and present on topics like how do you sign a commercial lease or how do you start and register your business. So we have topics like that as well. We also have downloadable guides, on-demand videos, networking events, peerpreneur sessions, newsletters, any kind of resources you need or are looking for to start your business are the resources that we provide. We also provide secondary market research, and it sounds more complicated than it is, but we have access to databases across Canada that can help you research information for your business. So it's very useful stuff that we do as well. So my role is to help people who want to start a business and don't know sort of where to start or how to start or what to do. So part of my role is to help you sort that piece of it out. So I don't know who here is actually thinking of starting a business or already doing a side gig or a hustle or something like that and thinking, that would be something cool I'd like to turn into a business. Who here is doing that? If you're online, you can raise your hand virtually and I'll imagine you're there doing it. Okay. So it's a great way to develop a career for yourself. It really is. We're in times right now where we have high inflation and we have a lot of economic turmoil. One of the great ways to supplement your income and a great way to build resources for yourself is to start a business. It's one of the hedges against inflation that you can do. If you're old like me, you may remember, and I don't think there's anyone here who will, but I remember the days of 18% interest rates from the government. So yeah, woo! we're not doing so bad. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run a video here for everyone so that you can, this is a series of videos we have online. So I'm going to just put that up for a second so you can see it. We have a series of small business basic videos that you can access on our website. Everything from planning to market research to what it is to be an entrepreneur, some of your first steps in business, how to structure your business. These are all little great short videos that you can access. The one I'm going to play for you today comes with a downloadable guide. So if you go to the Business Link website and you want to figure out how do I organize all my questions that I have about starting a business, or how do I figure out where to start with what questions go where, this guide is actually going to help you get that organized. So that if you want to reach out to organizations like Business Link, you can phone us up, you can email us, you can talk to us, and have some kind of structure in place to have your questions ready and have them answered in a very effective way. So I'm going to play that video for you so that you understand how that works. Do we have sound, everyone? Maybe not. I should have tested this. Pause. It's on. Okay. Let's see if it's going to, actually, I'll test myself running. Let's see what happens when we do this. Okay, I'm going to stop it here because some people may not be able to hear this too clearly. One of the steps when you start a business is figuring out how to register it, what you're going to do for that. So you have some choices. You can register as a sole proprietor, you can register as a partnership, or you can register as a corporation. When you do that in Alberta, any way you choose to register, you're also going to get assigned something called a business number from the CRA. So Canada Revenue Agency wants your name, your number, and wants to track you down. That number is just like a SIN number, only it's assigned to your business so that you can be identified and file your taxes and file your business returns. That's really what this part of the video is about. So in Calgary, if you're working in Calgary, you may or may not need a City of Calgary license to do the type of business that you want to do. So if you are in a food services business, or if you are working from a site, a commercial site, that sort of thing, you may need a City of Calgary license. So all the information about the licenses and whether you need them or not is on the city of Calgary website, just so that you know, you just type in permits and licenses there. When you're thinking about starting your business, you want to check to make sure that you're getting licenses if you need them. Not every business needs a license, a lot of businesses don't. The first company I had, I didn't have a business license for, so it's not necessarily required. So who here has started a business already and has got Square or those types of things to collect money? So when you are collecting money for your business and you've got credit card accounts and that sort of thing, you can shop around for some pretty good rates through your bank for merchant fees. Recently, there has been a court ruling that says you can now collect those fees from your customers. Before, you couldn't pass those fees along to your customers. As of yesterday, you can. It may or may not be a good idea, depending on how happy your customers might be about something like that. So certainly that's a decision you would make. It does cost money to make those transactions happen. So be aware when you're pricing your products and services to sort of build that into some of those costs that you're doing. A business bank account manager is one of your friends, believe it or not. They can be your friends if you have a good one. Good account managers, those people are going to be linked to other bankers, other lenders, other places you can go. They're going to be linked to internal resources that may or may not be helpful to you. So make friends with your banker if you're starting a business, get to know them, check in regularly. Sometimes there's hidden products and services at your bank that they don't advertise, they don't tell anyone about, that your account manager is going to come forward with to you. Like, oh, we can get you a line of credit for a little less than what's advertised, that sort of thing. Check in with that person. They're a free resource to you and they're assigned to your account. Okay, so the document that comes with this video, if you want to watch this video online, you can hit the download button on it. Talks a little bit about how to sort your business out. A lot of people will start a business because they know how to do something really cool. So I know how to make candles, for example, or I know how to crochet, or I know how to build something, or I know how to create something. The ability to know how to create something is different than the skill set you're going to need to turn it into a business. So one of the things that we try to do when we are teaching people about entrepreneurship is to help you understand that the thing you do is not the business you're going to have. The business is all the processes you're going to design around the thing that you do. So some of the processes include planning, your operational processes, the processes you put in place to keep your product or service going out the door. So in the case of candles, for example, the process there is an operational process called manufacturing. You're manufacturing something to go out the door. The process to tell people about that is called marketing. So that's a process you learn in your business. The process you learn to keep track of the money in your business is called financials, your financial processes. If you have people involved in your company, those are the HR processes. So one of the things that can be a little tricky to understand is that when you start a business, you're going to be learning languages for each of those processes, and you're going to be designing skill sets for each of those processes. And if you want to get answers to your questions quickly, you can organize your questions for each of these processes. So that's what this document helps you do. So I like this document for that purpose. A few things to know when you start is you gotta understand yourself. You gotta know who you are, understand the industry you're in, and build out your plan. And planning doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be this massive 30-page document that looks fancy dandy and everything else. You can start out pretty simple with a one-page business plan. So I'll show you some of the resources for that shortly as well. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about why knowing yourself and understanding your industry and building your plan is critical to being successful. So knowing yourself means identifying who you are. Are you a female entrepreneur? Are you a youth entrepreneur? Are you a disabled entrepreneur? Are you a person of color as an entrepreneur, indigenous, immigrant? The second you identify what sorts of categories you feel you fall into, the more access you have to funding resources and grant resources and loan resources and all the resources that governments and nonprofits and programs have in place to offer your business. And many of those programs are in place based on many of those criteria. So for example, if you are a young entrepreneur between the ages of 18 and 39, Futurepreneur Canada offers loans, mentoring, and all sorts of resources to you to start your business. If you are a woman entrepreneur, the Alberta Women Entrepreneurs offers loans and business planning resources and all sorts of financing to you if you are able to work with that organization. If you are a disabled entrepreneur, there's all kinds of organizations out there helping disabled entrepreneurs start and grow their businesses. And I'm going to show you where you access that information, yay, so that you can figure out how to quickly get to the resources you need, because there's thousands of resources out there. So one of the important things to do is identify yourself. Sit down and make a list of who am I as this entrepreneur? Who is the person running the company? And am I starting? Am I growing? What stage of my business am I at? And do I need support for COVID resources? Or do I need support to bring people in my company? So you'll need to know some of those things as well. I like to show people this as well. So I know I was out at the trade show outside, and one of the gals outside said, well, I don't do any business in South Calgary with my stuff. And she couldn't really identify why she didn't do business in South Calgary with her stuff. One of the ways you can identify potential customers for yourself, or the values they have, or the things that might bring them to the table, is to understand where they live, and also to understand where you live, so you can identify what information and data is out there about you and your neighborhood. So I'm going to show you this postal code lookup so you can see what data is out there. And if you are already in business and it's reliant upon people's purchasing from you as a retail purchase or anything else, collect their postal code information from them. Who goes shopping like in the mall and everyone asks for your postal code in the mall? Everybody asks for a postal code. But I'm going to tell you why. Does someone want to give me their postal code?
Sure. TOL, T0L, 0H0.
So across Canada, we have 69 different types of neighborhoods with people in them that are mapped all across Canada through postal code. Each of these is assigned sort of a personality. So it'll be the personality of your hood. Okay, so we have a rural postal code. What is the name of the place? Black Diamond. Black Diamond? No, Black Diamond. So when you click on Black Diamond, you'll see on the map the little yellow spot, but you'll see all the other purple dots. So this neighborhood is in all the other purple dots across Canada as well, and the people in this neighborhood are considered down to earth. Let's find out what that means. So All of these people across Canada represent 2.64% of the population. They are older, middle-income rural couples and families. They are the largest segment of households across Canada. So the majority of these people are over 55. They have an average earning, so it tells you a lot of information based on your postal code. This is great data to collect from your customers as well, because now you can start to customize some of your marketing processes to market to those customers. So it's not only good to know yourself and to see what other people have out there as data on your good, but it's also good because you can collect that data too and get some good information about how to market yourself.
Is this information available on the Business Link website?
It is not. So if you want to email me, I've got a card.
Okay.
Anyone who wants to email, get some of those details. We also have a webinar we get called Market Research for Business Success. We talk about this and a few other things in that one as well, because that's how you do market research and do something in marketing. Some of the key things are how these people think, which is really interesting. They even have that down. How do they think? I am adventurous and outdoorsy. That's how I think. New technologies are causing more problems than they are solving, and brands are not important to me at all. So that's kind of some of the statements they'll make. And then how they live. This describes my dad. He literally lives across from Giant Tiger in Ontario. So he does live across from Giant Tiger. This is my dad. So they dine at casual family restaurants, they take multivitamins, they own ATVs and snowmobiles, that kind of thing. It's really in-depth. There's also a website in the US that does this by zip codes. So if you have clients in the US or customers in the US, I can send you that one too. So it's interesting stuff because you get to know yourself, you get to know your customers a little bit, and you can start to design your marketing processes. It's really neat stuff. So when we talk about knowing yourself, for many people, knowing yourself also means knowing your customer, because chances are you're building a business around something that you're passionate about, something you like, something that's part of your neighborhood and part of who you are, and you're selling to you. You're selling to a mirror image of you often. Okay, next we want to understand the industry you're in. So we have ways to do that. It's called the North American Industry Standards Code, NAICS codes. And what that is a standardized system of coding across Canada, the US, and Mexico that allows the governments in all of these countries and allows you, the public in all of these countries, to understand what are the industries that drive your country, how do they look, what are the ratios, what are the average percentages of everything, and what are the descriptions for them. This is key to know for yourself as well, because it also tells you what your competition is all about and who's in your industry and what goes on here. So I'm going to show you a little bit about that. We also talk about this in the market research webinar video. So in this case, you're going to want to know, and you're also sometimes asked, and in a lot of cases, more and more often now, if you're applying to government programs, grant programs, funding programs, everything else, one of the things they're going to ask you is, what industry are you in? So this is one way to figure that out. This is the Statistics Canada website with the North American Classification Code lookup. So depending on, are you in retail? So if you're selling stuff, you're going to be in retail. And you're going to find your 6-digit number just by clicking that open and getting more of a description of what the heck is going on in retail. It'll say, this is what retail is, this is what they do. Are you a non-store retailer? Do you only sell online? Here are some definitions of what all the retail codes are and how they break down. So if you're only selling online, you may be a non-store retailer. And that being the case, by non-store retail methods, broadcasting infomercials, broadcasting direct response advertising, publishing electronic catalogs. So it really goes deep into that. And then you can click your number over from there and get your 6-digit code. This sounds more complicated than it is, but if you can identify who you are and what industry you're in, there's a lot of available resources for you because you can answer those questions quickly. Now you're getting answers to questions quickly for the work you do. Any questions on NAICS codes? They're only exciting to entrepreneurial geeks like me, I have to say, so everybody. Okay. Business planning. Who here has been told, oh, when you start a business, you need a business plan? Yeah. Oh, it needs to be 350 pages long, 300 million things of research, and it needs to be like fabulously exciting, and you need to take months, and you need to plan forever, and it's, by the time you do it, you're like, I could have started my business by the time I got this thing done. I'll be kind of honest, I never started any business with a business plan. I never actually had a full-scale business plan when I started my businesses. Not that I recommend you don't do some planning, but think about what you want to do and how fast you want to do it and how you want to get started and what your aim is with the business plan. If you have no idea how to organize your thoughts or how to organize your business processes or who you're selling to or what you're doing, the simplest way to organize that stuff is with a one-page business plan. That's where I would start. So I'm going to show you a website called dplans.com. If you've never seen this one, this is a great website. It's got sample plans for all kinds of businesses on it. It's got all kinds of great stuff. But one of the great things it has is something called a lean business planning template. It's a simple one-page Word document plan you can put together for your business that pretty much captures the basics of what you need to think about so that you can take that and then use it to build out your plan. So let's not get all crazy about the planning thing. I know people are like, oh, plan, woo. Let's take a look at what that looks like. This is what it looks like. We also have other plans. So if you're a visual person, you might want to use something called a business model canvas. That's sort of the visual version of this type of plan. If you're a visual learner, that can be a useful plan for you. But if you complete this one first, you can take the information from this one and you can transfer it over to all the different sections of bigger business plans that you have to fill out if you want to get money from people. That's why you're building your business plan. You want to get some money. And most places who are going to give you money are going to ask for that big business plan from you. So you can start very simply with this one-page plan. Who are you? So this is the business I am in, blah, blah, blah. What problem am I solving for people? You are not selling stuff. You're not selling a service. The thing you do is not the thing you're selling. The thing you're selling is a solution to somebody's problem. So that's an important thing to think about because that's how you're going to build up all your marketing processes. Who here sees car commercials and truck commercials and all that kind of stuff, right? They're not selling cars and trucks. They're not. Well, they kind of are, but the Subaru couple looks completely different than the cowboy dude in the Ram truck commercial. That's because they've identified as different people buying different stuff. And maybe the Subaru couple actually needs a truck, but they're not identifying their customers that way. What they're doing is they're saying, what do these people value and what are the problems we're solving for them? So this is a real key part of thinking about your business as well. Your target market, well, you can use some of those PRISM target markets to think about what those people look like. Use your competition. You can use the NAICS code information from Statistics Canada to figure that piece out. You can also call BusinessLink. We have a market research department. You can actually call us once you've had some ideas together, and we'll freely do some market research for you. So that's key. Who are the competitors? That's a big piece of market research. How are you going to sell your stuff? Sales channels. Are you going to use video? Are you going to use direct mail? Are you going to use social media? Those are all sales channels that you'll use. So this is a great tool, and again, if you want to grab my card, I can email you some of these websites and resources. But you really, really, really don't need to have a 100-page business plan to put your ideas on paper and get started. If you do choose to do that, we have an interactive online business planner that has little videos that help you all along the way. Log in, create a free account, and just go on the plan. At your own pace, in your own time, at your leisure. But if you're going to apply for funding, specifically you're going to apply to places like Alberta Women Entrepreneurs, Futurepreneur Canada, Business Development Bank of Canada, and places like that, they want to see a plan. They want to see a full-blown plan from you. And this is a plan that you can use for that sort of stuff. So that's our business planning stuff. Next, where's the money? Money. Who here needs more money for their business? Or wants more money for their business? Money. Who here has used all their own money for their business? Yeah, we all know that. That's important. Most lenders want to see that you've used some of your own money and you've got what we call skin in the game. You're putting that effort in. That being said, there's lots and lots of programs that will also contribute money to your business. So let's take a look at why knowing yourself, knowing your industry, and knowing those things now becomes important. It becomes important because if you go to the Government of Canada website, if you want to find any programs or grants or funding or tax credit programs or programs that are run by nonprofits in different provinces and things like that, this is the page to go to. So I don't know if anyone has seen those ads on Google where it says, we'll find grants for you for thousands of dollars. We'll do the research for you and blah, blah, blah. Don't do it. It's free from the Government of Canada. The way you get it out of the Government of Canada is you say, I'm looking for funding, loans, tax credits, COVID support, wage subsidies, expert advice, partners, researchers, whatever, you can tick them all off. So let's say you're just looking for funding. Money, I'm looking for the money, okay? More specifically, I'm looking for how much money. So you want to have an idea in your head how much you're looking for, okay? So let's say you want up to $250,000. That's big. Okay. What is your goal? This is that one-page business plan you're doing. I want to start or buy a business. Maybe I want to lease equipment. Do I want to grow? Do I want to hire and train employees? Pick as many as you like. Okay, let's say I just want to start or buy a business. Now it says, tell us about your company. Well, this is knowing yourself. What province are you in? Well, I know myself, I'm in Alberta, okay? And what is my business? Remember those NAICS codes? That's where they get this list from. This is the NAICS code list. Are you in forestry and fishing? Are you in, all of these different NAICS code categories? If you're not sure, you can hit not sure, but it sure narrows down the stuff you qualify for if you know what your industry is. So let's just say, hi Justin, let's go back. Or Justin. Okay. Let's just say, where you go? Ooh, I lost him. Hang on, I'll put it back up again. It's because I can't do it. Stuff. Let's just go back up again. I'll find it. Let's do this. Okay, we're gonna say we have 0 employees. Most startup business probably have 0 employees. Unless you put yourself on your own payroll, you are not an employee of your own business. Okay, so probably say 0 here for starting. There are a wider variety of programs available to you if you are an incorporated business. It opens up countless more doors to you if you are an incorporated business. The trick with being incorporated is that it's a little expensive to do, and when you're starting out, you're probably wanting to be a sole proprietor because it's like 75 bucks and you're done. That's okay. Start that way, test the waters, but keep in the back of your mind that as you're growing a business, you'll probably want to switch. Even if it's not tax beneficial and even if it seems expensive, at some point you'll want to switch because it's going to open the door to a wider variety of programs. Let's not tackle. If you are in business to make money and generate profit, you are a for-profit business. If you're business link, you're a not-for-profit business, and there's a whole other set of programs out there. Okay, this is the importance of knowing yourself. Because see how they do that on this website? They say, who are you? Are you Indigenous? Are you BIPOC? Are you female? Are you part of the LGBTQ plus community? Are you a person with disabilities? Are you youth? Are you rural? Are you urban? Because there is a swath of programs available across the country in a variety of regions for a variety of people. And being able to narrow down how you are going to be identified here is going to narrow down the programs for you. And you're not going to scramble to look for programs that you just don't qualify for. I'm going to say here, there's a rural. I'm going to say this. And, do we have anyone who's Indigenous? There are a whole swath of programs. Anyone want me to take language? Anyone want me to take Black, women, language minorities? Maybe I'll just take a few things, see what happens. Okay. Do you want to see all the programs, accepting and not accepting? I would say yes to all of them because they might open up at some point in time. You can check back in. Done. It's thinking, so there's a few. 7. So out of the thousands, you've narrowed it down to 7. And you've got some in Quebec that won't apply to you. You've got vouchers in Alberta. You've got grants in Alberta. You've got poultry producing stuff. Ooh, there's more. Loans and capital investments, COVID support. All of this stuff is in here, and you can take a look at all the programs. And then you can see what the criteria are for the programs. And in most cases, the criteria are going to be that you've met some of these qualifications already. And the next ones are going to be that you have a business plan. And for many of them, it's going to be that you've been 2 years in business. And for many of them, it's going to be that you're incorporated. So I'm just going to say right now, there's not going to be a lot for you at startup. No one wants to come to startup. But there are a few. There is a few that are out there. So there's the Futurepreneur. You can see it if you're a youth entrepreneur. You can see the Futurepreneur showed up. BDC has venture capital for women-led technology companies and a few of those. And you have lots of programs that offer advice and expert advice only. Community Futures, if you're in rural Alberta, is your rural Alberta alternative. A Community Futures also does Olympic, so they do their everything. Okay. Whew. You are not alone. Okay, so now you know the importance of why you need to identify yourself, your industry, and have at least a minimum business plan. You're also not alone in the fact that you should be developing networking, friendships, advisors, and a library to help you with your business. A library of business books. What are you reading? If you were a doctor, or if you were a lawyer, or if you were in a career like that, you'd be doing professional development all year long. Same as a business person. What books are you reading? What networking events are you going to? What chambers of commerce are you linking with? Are you bumping into people in the elevator? I did that. I bumped into a guy in the elevator about 20 years ago when I was starting my second business by accident. I bumped into him. We always rode the elevator up in my building every day. And I had a tiny little office of 100 square feet, not even, like 50 square feet, in this old building in downtown Calgary, the old Lockheed building. It's now fabulous and all historical and wonderful, but when I was in it was escort agencies on the 6th floor, and it was like the paper and pillow at the bottom, and when we plugged in my big computers, I had 2 big ones with the big monitors, we blew out the floor. That's how old the wiring was. I would go up and down the elevator with him every day. And one day he just looked at me and said, I see you every day. You want to come for coffee at Bow Valley Square? And I went, oh, sure, what the heck? I don't know this guy Gravata, but he seems safe and friendly, so I went across the street with him. And for the next 3 years, we would go for coffee a couple times a month across the Bow Valley Square. This is in the days of BlackBerry. He did all of his business on his BlackBerry. And I went up and visited his office upstairs. Oh, I'm starting a new company. He says to me, I'm like, well, what do you do? Oh, we muffle noise. What the heck? You muffle noise. Well, as it turns out, this guy was starting his second company. He had a company in the 70s and 80s. He was an electrician who invented stuff. So in the 70s and 80s, he had invented this ignition switch. And this ignition switch is the switch they put on all the sour gas to fire up the flares. He invented that, which is super cool. I'm like, oh, and you couldn't tell from this guy. He wore jeans and nothing fancy, and he was the friendliest, nicest guy. Like, oh, okay. And he's like, well, I got sort of bored, so I started this other company. And it was a noise muffling company that muffled industrial noise. So he had invented something new. It was a system to muffle the large-scale industrial noise that comes from oil and gas services and things like that. And they had landed the contract with NASA to muffle the space crawlers. So when they crawl that space shuttle across Kennedy Space Center, his company is the company that muffled that noise because all the residents in Florida were complaining about that noise. And he had contracts in China and Russia and everything else. You could not tell that from this guy. You just couldn't. And he bothered to say hello to me in the elevator, like I was nobody. And he bothered to say hello to me in the elevator. We bothered to make a connection. And I remember sitting at Bow Valley Square going, so Rod, I started this business and there's so much competition and everyone's priced lower than me and I can't make any money. And I just whined. I was really young and I was whiny. And I whined at him one day. And he's like, what you stupid little girl. And he looked at me and he went, okay, well, this is what I did in my company when, we were trying to, slow down the sales of my ignition switch on my old company. We just doubled our prices. He said, why don't you try doubling your prices? And I'm like, it didn't hear me. I just told you that. All of my competitors are like half the price I am. But I did it anyway because I trusted him and he seemed to be quite successful. So I did. I doubled my prices, got a phone call maybe 2 days after that conversation, and somebody called and said, I'd like to use you for blah, blah, blah. I was creating corporations at the time. I just freaked right out on the phone. I'm like, okay, because the first question was, what's your price? I just gulped. And I did. I doubled the price on the phone. And then I panicked. And then I'm like, well, for that price, we'll get you this, that, the other thing, blah, blah, blah. And I just invented stuff on the phone as I talked. And then the guy on the other end of the phone said, sure, let's go ahead. And I'm like, wow, that was like the biggest thing I ever learned from my business mentor. Because I learned from that day that people didn't buy from me for my price. They bought from me for something else. What was the thing I did differently? Instead of having them come to the office and sign documents, instead of having them come in and process their credit cards through my little machine at the time and everything else, I just told them, you can do it all over the phone. You don't have to leave. And I made it simple and easy. So I recognized that they weren't buying from me because I had the same thing to sell as everyone else. They were buying from me because they valued that they didn't have to come in or stand in line or fill out paperwork. That's the importance of having mentors and advisors in your business. The importance is those people have experience, those people have seen it all before, they've lived through it, and even if they're not from the same industry as you, and even better, if they're not in the same business as you, you can learn a lot of great stuff. So surround yourself with people, ask for help. Go to chamber networking events, go to the ATB entrepreneur events that they have, meet people, talk to them, and say things like, I'm looking for someone who could be my mentor. Would you like to go for coffee with me once a week or once a month? You'd be amazed how many people, if you say, I want your help, or I want to help you, are like, oh, no shit, I'll help you. And it happens, it really does. So that's my story for that, and I've gone on and on and on. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hang around a bit if anyone wants to chat with me, and I'm gonna leave this up if anyone wants to sign up for the Business Link newsletter, because we have all sorts of webinars and free stuff that go on. It's all in the newsletter. 1-800 number. You want my card before you leave today? I put that there. There you go, everybody. And if you want to just chat, I'm around. It's all good.
Awesome. Thank you, Linda. So we are going to take a short break for some networking. Make sure we talk to Linda while she's here. Nothing better than getting information straight from the source, if you know what I mean. And then we will meet back at 4 o'clock for our panel.
Now I see there's business.
And it is tricky. There's not a lot.
Okay, everyone, we are gonna go for a walk. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Don't worry, I'm on it. Okay, everyone, we're gonna go check out the market. Dun, dun, dun. Ooh. Okay, so we have a live stream here to talk first. Dun, dun, dun.
Depression or anxiety or just anything in their life. And so it's a little bit of hope for that person that needs a little bit of hope.
Awesome. Do, do. You guys can put it on too. Oh.
Stable. And I'm here today spreading awareness for CMT, which is Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease. We issues. Should I keep talking?
Keep talking. There we go.
Okay. All right. So here, 50% of all my sales today will go towards the CMT Research Foundation. I also brought my oldest daughter's earrings. She makes Palmer clay earrings, and all of her sales goes towards horse shows and riding lessons. So she also is she has CMT. So yeah, that's what we're doing here today, and showing support towards people who have disabilities and employing them into tasks that they are able to do and keep themselves busy. So that's me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now I got the Wi-Fi source, so. Yeah. Okay. Live stream coming through. All you gotta do is tell them a little bit about your business and what brought you here.
Okay. Kansei, Kiyamaga. I am Sam Stonechild, and my business is crochet, and it is called Cook and Powell Gun. And I crochet for a living. I've been doing it since I was 9. So, hi.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah. You guys are packing up, but do you guys want to tell everyone about your business and why you're here?
Yeah, for sure.
This is just the live stream we have right now.
Who is everyone?
The live stream right here.
Yeah, but who's it going to?
It's going out to YouTube and a whole bunch of different
Hi.
links
Hey,
we have.
my name is Shelly. I sell blind but blended. That's my tag name. I'm visually impaired, legally blind, and I started selling makeup online because I love it, and anybody can do it. And I figured if I can do it, you can do it. So you can find me on YouTube at Shelly Shelke or Instagram at Blind but Blended, and I work at Goodwill, and they help put this on. And
Awesome.
I love working at Goodwill.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. You're packing up, but do you want to share about your business to the live stream?
Oh, hello, I'm Sherry with Moon Kitchen Candles, and I just love repurposing glass and creating non-toxic, eco-friendly, enjoyable lights.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, everyone. We're live streaming, so I just need you to come over here and tell us a bit about your business. Yeah.
How much time is it? No, like, do you want like a 30-second blurb?
Nope. Go for as long as you need. We're in break right now, so.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Okay, you guys get my pretty face for a second. Woo! While our next business gets set up. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but did you get pictures of your, I saw someone else take pictures. Hold on.
No worries.
Stuff in my cheese.
No worries. Okay, everyone. We just gotta wait for our next vendor here. As close as I can. Yeah.
You sell these too?
Yeah, that is fair. You ready? All right. Yeah. No worries. Okay. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
So what do you want me to say?
Just tell us about your business and why you're here.
Oh, why I'm here? Oh, to help support.
Yeah, but tell us about your business.
Okay, is it on right now?
Yeah, you're on.
Oh, hi. I'm Shannon from Cheeky Pebble, and I'm here down supporting DEAM, Disability Awareness Month. And basically my products, most of them are child safety related. It started out when I was pregnant and I was looking for a safety decal for the back of my vehicle because I wanted everybody to know I had a child and to be super careful around me. So that's how it started. I created my own. And then as my son has gotten older, I've realized that there's other products that I needed and wanted. For example, don't park too close. It's very hard when you have big strollers or big car seats to get in and out of vehicles, so things like that. And I've since come up with a kid catcher, which is a magnet that you stick on the side of your car, and you tell your little ones to go give it 5, and then you have them search for different animals, and it keeps them beside your vehicle and it keeps them safe instead of running around and getting hit by in parking lots and vehicles. And I've created a couple other little house-related items, stickers, please don't knock on my door, don't ring, or keep my door closed for pets. So I just kind of created a bunch of things that I personally actually needed. This one I don't need, but it's something that's a pet peeve of mine, a new driver magnet. The new driver magnet isn't a pet peeve. It's when people use paper in the back of their windows and you're teaching somebody to drive. For someone who's been driving for 30 years, that would be very hard for me to drive with the big chunk of my window disappearing. But yet we're teaching kids with paper in their window. So this is a magnet that goes on your car, and it really helps reduce aggressive drivers for your learning kids. I'm happy to be here, happy to help young entrepreneurs and get people going, and showing my own products as well. It's been a great
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, now we're gonna go back to the big room, everyone. Do. Let's keep walking. Let's keep walking before Owen falls down. Let's keep walking. Let's keep walking before my leg gives up. Okay. Do. Okay, everyone, we're just setting up for the next event. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, hey?
No, I gotta watch Twitch 7 days a week. Is that big YouTube link already on there?
Yeah, so I'll show you. So as soon as
Yeah.
Thank you, that's great. I appreciate all this, which is you started Cool. Thank you, then.
Can we move this?
Thank you. Good afternoon. Still going on?
Yes, I know.
I'll grab some. Yeah, I might even call my roommate if he has time to come get me or not.
gonna fix it to. She will say.
You know what team I do?
He's gonna be like, what are you doing, guys?
Oh, no, that's the YouTube.
I do.
You know. So Dee, when Dave's video, are we gonna do that? I think we should do that. Totally.
Jose's gonna be, where are you going?
Yeah, he's got a video queued up, so if you want, yeah. He's got it. Perfect, thanks, Dee, got it.
We're gonna get Mercedes.
Oh, it's the second one.
Sorry.
Thank you so much. I'm just in the office. I'm going to show Yeah, I'll make some surprise. I don't know.
So the color is kind of toward, yeah. More, a little more, a little more, a little more, a little more. Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yes.
Did you have the mic for Laura as well? Mics?
Oh, you want to try to use the
You can, Jason there or here. I'll introduce the introductions. This is Jason from Work Rock.
Hey, Jason.
Garrett. And this is
So a couple of names included by this place. So we started off essentially
Oh, do you know your perfect.
we're just beta testing our first digital platform, so we're moving certified locations onto it, so disabilities can kind of go through and see if the accommodations meet what they require. And then we'll use that as a basis to be part of the community.
Oh, so you have everything that you build, you have it already like so that way they can see it. That's where you say when you say that you can.
Yeah, so we've already got it built on the platform, so it's pretty much it's just a map of the location.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, and then it outlines what accessibility accommodations are. Can see transparency.
Yeah. Did you have it like a 3D or how they see it? How they see it? You have like a 3D or?
So right now we just use photos of the accommodations and what it offers. We use checklists, so we actually go in and manually assess the measures. And then that's how we determine the accessibility.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never. These people actually has like a yeah, it makes me agree for my company. Yeah. And they're not that from here.
Shockingly, that one. And with us, so that was kind of why I started.
Yeah.
We got it going.
I know.
You guys will share. It is you guys will share.
How many mics do you have? Two?
I only have 2 minutes for July. That will reach to you. Yeah. Share your stuff.
not business, we're not, sorry. Okay. Yeah, we're just Jason here with David. Thank you all for coming. I know that this is something different for all of you. But the most important thing that we're trying to get across today is just disability and diversity and entrepreneurship and how people have options. If you have a disability, you don't always have to go traditional steps for an organization. You don't have to pound pavement, you can make something for yourselves. And you guys have all been identified as somebody that's inspirational to us, going way to go. And so we wanted to celebrate you, so thank you so much for coming. Your host today is going to be Laura. Laura is our chair on the DEAM committee this year. And she will lead you through questions. Some of the questions will be for all of you, where all of you will get to answer, like, what's your name, and what business do you run. But then some of them maybe Laura will direct specifically to different people, just to keep the conversations going. We are going to be streaming live on YouTube, which, you know, you'll make your millions right here, right now. We'll get millions of TikTokers and everybody saying we want to be here. So thank you for coming. Thank you to our generous audience for coming out and to participate in this as well today. It's been a long day for all of us. We've learned a lot about what we're going to do for next year, but you know, it's all learning here from here. So without ado, I'm going to give it to.
I'm gonna steal someone's microphone.
Kennedy, she's our MC for today, and I'll get out of the picture. Oh, one of the things I was going to say before you get started is that, so when Laura asks a question, you'll kind of pass the microphone to the next person. So it'll be Laura who will identify, or if you'll like, oh, I'll answer that question, then you'll pass the microphone, but Laura will have the phone. So Jason apparently is going to tell all the stories today.
Where are we looking? Or are we supposed to look?
The camera is.
No, you don't have to look at the camera. You can kind of talk to the host, or you can, yeah, you can talk to the host. I think that's, or just kind of look wherever. Like.
Additionally, there will be questions from the live audience. So we have a guest moderator, Dave Liddell from Six Wheel Co, and myself, and a few others. And actually, the chat is starting to fill up, which is really cool. So if questions come for the panel, Laura,
You're on the air.
You're on the air, and Laura will be getting a text from me. So yeah, it'll be like they're not. So.
Yeah, so we also have closed captioning here for people who read closed captioning. Do we have deaf and hard of hearing? We're not actually in yet, are we?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna get us started. So as it was said, thank you guys all for coming again to our panel. I'm going to introduce Dave Liddell. He is joining us from afar. So David started Six Wheel Co as a way to share his work with people and to connect them on a creative level. Dave is a Canadian-based queer artist who happens to have cerebral palsy. Dave has not only created and sold paintings, merchandise, and other forms of art, he's also a part-time DJ and appeared on several podcasts talking about queer disability issues and running his own business and brand. Recently, Dave has become a While there, he was asked to create the art for the past DEAM Award winner Love Jar Candle Co., which we have displayed right at the front here, for their 2022 Pride Month candle named Everything But Vanilla, which you can see there. Liddell believes in the importance of pushing boundaries in his own life. He is always advocating for his community, challenging and exercising his creative muscles. He says, I believe the best gift you can give yourself is to live your life with authenticity and acknowledge challenges as part of the human experience. Dave is unable to be here in person today, but has volunteered to be guest moderator for our live YouTube chat today. Please enjoy this video he has created. I believe we have a screen to the side here. On that side, sorry, more than one screen.
I started Six Wheel Co. Basically out of necessity, because right when I began painting, just out of just for pleasure, it's when the pandemic hit, and then I realized that I needed to pivot and try and parlay this into a career. And fortunately, I had some talent, and I was able to sell first to a couple of family friends and family, and then the rest kind of grew from there. I was initially, but from this one um, venture, I was able to channel that creative energy into other things. I've been I'm a part-time DJ. I'm a writer. I am I designed a candle for Milk Jar Candle Company for this past Calgary Pride Parade. So I think all these opportunities just came about just because I'm honest with who I am as a queer disabled artist, and it was when I started to be honest with others, but most importantly myself. That's when success kind of found me, and I was able to just take it and roll with it. And I'm always looking for new opportunities and new experiences to immerse myself in, and I think that's the greatest part about being an entrepreneur is being able um, to drive your own creativity and channel it in places um, where you know that it's going to work. Um, my greatest success professionally, I would have to say, is collaborating with Milk Jar Candle Company. Like I alluded to earlier, I was able to work with them on the Pride candle that was just released this past September. And it was through my meeting with Milk Jar and Holly Singer, where I was able to see that you know a nice person and a socially aware company can can be a success, and you don't have to, despite what some people say, you don't have to be, you know, um, cold and calculating in business. You do have to be determined, but like I always say, you should lead with your heart first, and the rest of the story will tell itself. I would say I'm an influencer in the sense that I'm finally telling my story and finally being authentic. And if that's what an influencer is, then I guess I'm an influencer. But I strongly believe in giving back to those who have given so much to me, and you know, through the rest of my time, you know, on this earth, I will, and that's gonna be my goal, is to give back as much as I can to all those who have, given me so much and gave me a second chance and knew what I had to say had value and knew that there was a story here.
Awesome. Thank you, Jade, for joining us from afar. Up next, I will introduce Laura, who will be hosting our panel.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Laura Callahan. I am the chair of the Disability Employment Awareness Month Committee. I'm really happy to be here today. This is our first ever opportunity to feature local neurodiverse and disabled entrepreneurs, so I'm really, really excited about it. Partially because myself, for 10 years, I was an entrepreneur. So I owned 2 businesses, both pet grooming businesses, one in a small town and one in a city, Calgary, lovely city. So yeah, I know myself as an autistic individual. I always did really well being my own boss. I had an opportunity to do things exactly the way I liked it. So I love that we have some representation here today of other neurodiverse entrepreneurs, as well as employers who have hired inclusively and employees themselves to be able to talk about their lived experience. So really unique opportunity to hear from all avenues. So yeah, we will be having some questions coming in online. If you're viewing online and you have a question to direct specifically to a certain person, please make sure that you note that. If the question is just broadly to the entire panel and anyone can take a crack at it, then no worries there. So I just wanted to start today and go around so we can each introduce ourselves and tell the people here and the people watching online a little bit about yourself, your name, the organization you work for or run, and just anything interesting you have to add. So I think we will start with Garrett.
Hi, I'm Garrett Crump. I'm the Finance and Operations Manager for a company called Included by Design. Included by Design was started and founded by my brother Sean Crump, who's a quadriplegic. We focus on the built environment, looking at accessibility and inclusion, and how we can create better opportunity for persons with disabilities to be active and participants within their communities, both socially and economically.
Wonderful, and I'll just go right to my left here. Is it Claire Zoe? Is that how you pronounce it? Claire Zoe, sorry. Claire Zoe is here today at our entrepreneur market selling some of her lovely items. I was very tempted to buy one of her crocheted octopus keychains. They were adorable. I'm just going to pass it over to her to tell us a little bit about her.
Hello, my name is Claire Zoe. I have 2 little companies that I've started. One is called Crochet by Claire Zoe, where I sell one-of-a-kind crochet items made with upcycled yarn. I don't buy anything new. I use stuff that's already here. I get it through donations and through secondhand purchasing. I also have an extension business. I make handmade custom wool dreadlock extensions like you can see in my hair right now. It's all made from locally sourced wool. So I hand dye, hand felt, and install them all myself. I have a background in hairdressing, but when I became disabled and I could no longer work in a salon, I decided to try my hand at making my own extensions and working on my time. So that's what I do.
Wonderful, thank you. And I'm going to pass it over. Actually, you guys have your mic to share there. How will we hear from Jason from Regrow? One moment while we get some power to the mic.
Nope, nope. Okay, good. My name is Jason Gobel, and I work at Regrowth, and I work with an owner right now, and that is Virginia, right over here, and she's a fun lady to work with. So yeah,
How long have you worked there?
5 years.
5 years. Is this one working? I think this one's
Technical difficulties.
Let's test. No? Test.
Okay. Oh, that's me.
How about this one? No? You've got to throw the mic back and forth. Oh, mine's working. How about yours?
Hello? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there
We
it
did
goes.
it. Awesome. Awesome. So sorry, in case you missed it, Jason says he has worked at Regrowth for 5 years, which is awesome. And thank you again to Regrowth. You can find them here in Deerfoot City Mall. They have been wonderful and created a Disability Employment Awareness Month themed milkshake. Some proceeds of which will go towards the DEAM committee. So that's wonderful for our planning for next year. Head on down and pick up one of our lovely milkshakes sponsors. And then lastly, we're going to hear from Shelley from Blind but Blended.
Am I good? Oh, okay. So my name is Shelley Shelkey, and I sell makeup, which is not so exciting maybe, but I'm legally blind. So back that up a little. I was born with optic atrophy, which pretty much, I don't really know, my optic nerve doesn't work right. So I can see everything, but just not clearly. Blind is a massive spectrum, which I'm learning. But for 20 years, I ran a day home. So that was a different business I did on my own. And recently moved to Calgary a year ago, so speed that all up. Over my 20 years of running a day home, some of my day home parents didn't even actually know about my vision because it wasn't applicable. And if you're concerned, I can explain that later. But when I moved to Calgary, I decided to kind of come out as a legally blind person, and I did that on my social media and started selling makeup. So I sell Saint makeup, and I love it because I can do it. And so if you can actually do your makeup, be confident about your makeup, and do it blind, I think that's a win. And I also work part-time at Goodwill, which I love because they're super inclusive, and it's helped me come out of my shell a lot, just owning my disability and my blindness or whatever. That's it.
Amazing. Amazing. It looks like we are just going to take turns with the sound. So thank you guys so much for telling us a little bit about yourselves. It might help everybody online when you're forming your questions, if you have one specific to any of our members. I'm going to start off with a couple of questions that I had thought our viewers and our attendees in person might be interested in hearing about. So anybody who wants to pipe up or talk about their experience, please do. I wanted to know, what was your inspiration for starting the business that you started?
Although not my inspiration, I'll talk on my brother's. He's mentioned it a few times. So his was really understanding a gap in accessibility and inclusion, particularly in Calgary, in Canada, and you'd go out or want to be a part with his friends, or go on a date, or just for a coffee for work. You'd have to call ahead and ask, are you an accessible location? Of course, every location says, yeah, no worries, we're accessible, no big deal. And he'd show up, and he's in a power chair, so there's a step in front, and it's we thought we could lift you up, or it's like, one, no, you can't, and two, that's not the point. The point is, I want to be able to independently socialize and be part of groups. And it was within that gap that he realized there was an opportunity, because it couldn't just be himself who was feeling this sense of isolation. And I think a lot of people coming out of COVID can now, empathize with that. So it was, how can he be part of an action that opened doors for those who felt, nervous, anxious, and maybe they weren't able to be a part of their community.
Thank you so much for that. Does anyone else want to speak to any inspiration that they had that led to them choosing the job or the field to work in that they did choose?
I wouldn't say that mine was so much inspiration as it was a hyper focus that I turned into a business. The hair extensions was something that I had done for a long time, and I just thought I would take it to a different level and make my own hair extensions and see if I could do that on my own. But the crochet that I started doing was really honestly just a hyper focus. I decided I couldn't afford some of the things that I had seen that I liked. Being disabled, you don't have a lot to work with. And so I decided to try to teach myself. And I basically just went on a year-long hyper focus, teaching myself crochet until I had developed enough skills that I started posting it and just to show people, and then people just wanted to buy my things. So I sort of just fell into it by accident, really.
Awesome. We're going to go to our first online question. If you could tell yourself something that you'd like as a piece of advice to give yourself starting out, what would that have been? One moment, we'll just switch the audio.
Hello. Actually, not starting out, I have to tell myself this all the time because a lot of marketing is social media now. And while I'm selling makeup, I'm literally putting my face online all the time. And you literally have to keep telling yourself, don't take yourself too seriously. What's the worst that can happen? Yes. Just keep going. It's okay. If that's helpful.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, there we go. Yeah, no, definitely for sure. Sometimes we can doubt ourselves too, I hear you. But every day, that's a good reminder to us that it's not just when you're starting out that you need those self reminders. It's all throughout. But what about something that you might have learned along the way that you maybe wish you had known when you started, or a sage piece of advice that you think could help others out there who are starting a business?
I don't think there is a one thing because everything is like experience. At the end, I never have that for now. That thought, oh, I wish that I knew this. I feel like I'm grateful for everything that comes in the path, and I was learning from there. I never thought I would be in like a hospitality business, and difficulties came when COVID and all the stuff, and sometimes it came even though before that, but I was all the time grateful. I think that the only thing I would say is when you're going to start a business or working in a business and a startup, always be open, and no open as a cliche, oh, your mindset has to be open, whatever. No, it's open to see the good things when it comes, and then create that as an opportunity every time instead of digging in, oh my God, why this happened? No. Just happen for a reason, and just find the reason, and that's it. I think for my experience.
I think that's a really good reminder too, and I can add from my own experience too, having been a business owner, adding to what you said, how you're learning as you go. It's like there's no rules to it, you know? If you're doing something one way and you find a better way, change it up, right? Learn as you go along and cater your business to what you're learning, right? So, awesome. Anybody else want to speak to that? Any things you wish that you had known or that big lessons that you learned along the way?
I've been learning through regrowth for about like 5 years, and there's always steps by step, and I have learned how to make milkshakes at regrowth and stuff. The junior taught me that, and that was really fun. And also doing TikToks with friends and all that with Derek and I. We do sometimes do a little bit of TikToking for regrowth, for the shakes that we do, and sometimes it's a big, huge learning curve, and it's fun. That's what it's all about. Like, you know, like we have, from my experiences, 4 or 5 years is, well, I started in 2017 and still learning now through the future time of regrowth. So, and I'm still learning even more.
Learning is a process. You're right. It never ends. I just wanted to say, anyone we have here in person, if you guys have a question, I'm going to be throwing it to you guys after this next one from online, okay? So again, from one of our online viewers, we have a question. What is the best thing you've experienced as a business owner or as an employee at an inclusive company? So the best thing that you've experienced as a business owner or an employee?
As an employee, it's fun. That's what it is. But what we do at regrowth, we are very inclusive with diversity. Like if you take a look at our shirts right here, it says diversity. For me, I think diverse itself is a great experience because I'm Down syndrome. And I've been Down syndrome for 37 years. And I would like to be included in a lot of things, like saying like events, regrowth events. We're trying to be as inclusive as possible for people with disabilities, and that's what this is all about here at a business in regrowth. And I think it's very wonderful to see that growing, and I hope to other businesses like these guys here, I hope that they'll do that throughout their it's a lively thing. Like it's what's true, what's within us. Like you see, anybody here can be like these guys here. Like I'm putting you guys on the spot here because it is about us. Because I want to be as exclusive as I can be. So I think it's way more important for other businesses to have diversity within their business. And I think that's what we all need today and in the future time.
Totally. I 100% am behind you. I think when we hire inclusively, you get different perspectives and different ways to solve problems, and those ways often benefit everybody. So it's not just for being inclusive because it's the right thing to do. It's because literally everybody in the equation benefits when you do that. We're going to throw it over to another one of our panel members, shall we?
Yeah, so, oh, I got lots to say on that. When I first moved to Calgary and I had to apply for jobs because I was no longer working for myself, I did so many interviews And they're like, oh, okay. And I tell them about mine. Oh, we're inclusive. And yeah, no crickets. I would hear nothing. Maybe that's not why, but whatever. Of course, personally, I would take that personally. And even too at the interview, I'd be like, well, I can do everything. I just am going to do it differently than maybe somebody else would have done it, but I will get there. Just give me a sec. So anyways, speed it up. My son's girlfriend was like, well, I heard Goodwill hires disabled people. I was like, well, okay. So that's what I did. I went to Goodwill and, oh, I love it. I started in June and I mean, my personal growth of being open about my blindness and being comfortable around other people. Like, for instance, I would never have been caught dead using a magnifying glass in public, even though I can't read anything without it, but you know, heaven forbid. So Joanna actually took me to CNIB and I got a magnifying glass, and I don't need it all the time. I just need it when I read the tags, but I don't even care. And nobody cares. Like, nobody's like, what are you doing? You know? So I use my magnifying glass when I need it. Speaking to how it affects other people that you work with, just the other day, one of my coworkers, and they're all so great. I've never used the coffee machine before because I don't know how to use it and I can't see it. And so I was asking her and she's like, oh, I'll show you. But rather than saying, okay, so you press this, this, and this, because she knows I cannot see the writing, she's like, so you're gonna press this one on the left, this one on the left, pretty much just stay to the left, except if you like dark coffee, then you're gonna press this on the bottom right. And I was like, she totally learned how to teach a blind person how to run a machine. So like, that was really cool.
I love that point that you made that, you know, you'll still get from point A to point B. Most people go a straight line point A to point B. You might take a bit of a different route, but you will get there, right? And that's the thing that a lot of employers, I think, aren't aware of, right? They think, oh boy, okay, if I'm gonna hire inclusively, it's gonna be so much extra work for me, it's gonna be extra time training. It's not. It might be different, but it's not extra. And the lovely thing is, I'm just going to give a shout out to the Calgary Employment First Network here. If there are any employers that are wanting to hire inclusively and they don't know where to start, you can reach out to this network, which is a combination of all of the different service providers in the city who can help you step by step. They have job coaches. They have placed hundreds of people with employers. They can help be that bridge and show you how to go about it, and have those conversations with you, answer all those difficult questions you might have without it being awkward. So there's so many people I know that they want to do this, they just don't know where to start. So if that's you, that's where you go. You will find a wonderful, diverse talent pool full of individuals just like these. And yeah, that's a wonderful place to start if that's what you want to do. What I wanted to ask was, well, what do you find the hardest part of being an entrepreneur? So that's for the entrepreneurs on the panel. What was the hardest part of being your own boss, having your own business? As opposed to working for someone else, of course.
For me, one of the hardest parts is having to do all the social media stuff. I kind of, even though I look very colorful, I like to just like blend into the background. I don't really like to be at the forefront of things, and advertising for oneself, you sort of have to do that. You're expected to be a content creator as much as you are expected to produce whatever product you're producing. And I don't think I was exactly ready for just how much of that I was going to have to be doing. So that's been the most difficult part for me personally. And then some of my physical limitations can make things very difficult. You know, I don't drive, I can't go to market events by myself, I can't do setup by myself and take down typically. I have to get someone to help me, and that can make things very difficult as well, trying to coordinate with other people for when they can help you. Those are probably the two most difficult things I've dealt with, yeah.
Yeah, I think just kind of adding on to that, one of the most difficult parts is you've got to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because if you don't do the work, then it's just not going to get done. You don't really have anyone to blame but yourself. And starting out, I know, like, personally, there's a lot of hesitation, a lot of fear, and everyone wants kind of the map and the roadmap to how do I get to starting to making a living, and it just, that doesn't exist. You have to test, you have to interact, and you have to get your product or service, your business out there, and enjoy that feedback and understand that not everything is going to be a success right out of the gate. There's going to be setbacks, there's going to be failures. But that just makes even the smallest win that much more rewarding. And so, yeah, just I guess the fear of the unknown is kind of the hardest part, but you work through it, and eventually you kind of evolve and get more comfortable with it.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't realize is maybe they'll make a small attempt at starting a business, right? Well, I'll give it a try and keep my other job. And then at the first sign of failure, they're like, no, okay, I can't do it, never mind. But you know what, like, you do have to be okay not being okay, right? Like you said, like, be not afraid of that fear. No, okay, that's part of the process. You know, you have to fail a couple times before you figure out just exactly what works. Yeah, I saw nodding across the board here, people agreeing with that, so.
Social media.
Yeah, the social media thing, you know, like, of course, my business was 10 years ago, so it was a little bit different, but I literally had flyers with the little tabs that we take. Amazing how much has changed in 10 years, right? But, you know, Facebook marketing and all that stuff was part of it. It's just, yeah, that's another point too, right? Like, changing with the times is a thing that it never stops, right? It's like you just get things set up and then you're like, oh wait, TikTok's a thing now? I know we have sometimes, okay, I guess, what's a reel? How do I do that, right? Like, yeah, so you have to change with the times. If your business is gonna just stay, you know, then that's as far as you're gonna go. If you ever want to move with the times, you gotta be the one to make that change. I have another question come in. Oh, no, before I go online, I did promise you guys in person. Is there anyone here who has a question in person before I move to the next online vote? No problem, we've got tons coming in, so. So the question from online is, what businesses or entrepreneurs have you been most influenced by? Ooh, that's a good one. Has anyone had anyone that, yeah, all right.
So I know the typical answer is usually, you know, like Steve Jobs or Elon Musk, but growing up, my dad was an entrepreneur, and you know, I think it gave me a very unique perspective as to what really goes on behind the scenes and what the work really looks like, good and bad, and what you know, the mindset you kind of have to adopt if that's the route that you want to go down, because it's easy to, there's always work that can keep you busy, but it might not move you in the right direction. You can spend countless hours. So yeah, I think, you know, having my dad being in the field as well and being an entrepreneur really showed the good, the bad, and everything in between, which was a pretty unique experience.
Yeah, for sure. We have Jason with something to add. Did you have something to add or no? I thought I saw your hand go up.
You're right, it is about perspective. Whatever keeps you busy keeps you on your feet. But when you're on your feet, it also helps to keep you busier. So that's how I look at it too. So it's kind of fun when you're busy because one, when you're working harder. When you're working harder, it's gonna feel. Then you stress. Yes, that's one. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? Like and my head was just spinning. Like, like it's not easy. But it's how you can stay calm within the workplace. But when you're in the workplace, stress is coming into your mind, you're rushing, all that kind of stuff, and your mind is racing, your heart is racing, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't breathe. But now, I'm a little bit more calmer now because I've been doing it for 5 years. And when you're doing it for 5 years, at first, when I first started at work, was back in 2017, and I was hired by 2 people that hired me, and one of them is right here in Virginia. She's one of them that hired me, and there's another person that hired me, but he's not here, but he's in the United States. His name is Jose.
Possibility, which is a beautiful thing, right? A lot of people don't realize that that's an option, is to be an entrepreneur. So, were we having some?
No.
Are we still streaming? We're going?
Yeah.
I just thought they switched up the computer there. Good stuff. Yeah, so we have another, oh, well, I'm so sorry we're not going to get to everybody's questions online. We have just a few minutes left, but let's see what else we can go to. Well, okay, how about this one? What advice would you give to empower other neurodivergent and or disabled youth that are wanting to pursue employment? Yeah. Oh.
Encourage yourself and be supportive. That's 2 things. 3, believe in yourself. I know that you can do it. And that's my encouragement to any of anybody that is trying to look for a job. This is going to be an interesting story, but I'm not going to say it too much. So, yeah, and so I just say take courage and do what you have to do and try to stay as motivated as possible.
Good advice for sure. I think that's true, that you gotta just try too, right? Sometimes people are so scared of change or failure that they don't try, but you can do it. I love that sense of inspiration you have. Time for one more question, so we'll say, this one's kind of unique. How can they come up with a great name for the company?
I would say try as many different combinations of words that are associated with your business as possible. And eventually you'll find one that just sort of clicks and feels right to you. Don't give it too much thought. Don't get too wrapped up in it. But just do brainstorming activities, write a bunch of words down, and just kind of put them together until you find something you like.
Anybody else? How did you come up with the name? We'll come back to your problem. How did you come up with the name Regrow?
Well, Jose that is not here. He was looking actually for something that makes sense. We worked with agency actually to find a good name that has a meaning. So we didn't want to use just a simple name. It was something that sounds quirky, different, and people would think about it. So actually regrab, it's worded backwards. And also means like regrab, so like regarding grab, right? So everybody was like, wow, what does it mean that like that? So basically in our stores, there's always regrab, and if you look into your bedline location, you go to behind the wall, it says burger. So it has like a meaning, a fun part to interact with whoever comes to the store. So it's just not just a name, right? So
That's so clever. I honestly didn't even realize it until this moment. I think all of us
all of us are. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's when we wanted to have a smile or oh my god, it says burger backwards. So, and that's where you start talking and say, yeah, that's what we do and blah blah blah. So it just breaks the ice between when somebody comes to the store. Yeah.
Amazing. Derek, I know I cut you off. What did you have to say about your idea for a unique name?
So I'm probably the least creative person in the world, but the way it was explained to me that seemed to make sense was that the name should be able to, assist what your company is and what it does without you having to then give a full explanation. It shouldn't take away from the quick pitch that you're trying to do to whoever you're meeting. It should amplify that pitch.
That's really good advice. That's really good advice. That is all the time we have for today, but I wanted to thank you guys all so much for being here today and for everybody with your great questions online. Sorry if we didn't get to you, but thank you for your viewership and for participating. And please do nominate an inclusive employer if you know one. There is still time until the 15th of October. You can find on the DEAM Alberta website the nomination form. And for the first time, we are having an award for a neurodiverse or disabled entrepreneur. So if you know of one, please do nominate them so they could be the recipient of the very first DEAM Entrepreneurial Award. Maybe it could be one of these folks here. Maybe you guys at home would like to nominate them. And you can also self-nominate. So yes, thank you again. I hope to see you at our other events. You can find them on the DEAM Alberta website. And yes, that wraps up today's event. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, everybody who was involved. I got a good laugh and I learned a lot more than I thought. And I'm also very inspired. I'd like to thank Dean as a group for helping us put on this event. I would like to thank Dean and his team as well for our sound. We couldn't have done it without you guys and without you guys as well. So thank you.
And that's a wrap. We'll just turn it off. It's so beautiful.
Yes.